A print is a work of art made up of ink on paper. It is created through an indirect transfer process by which the artist begins creating a composition on another surface, and the transfer occurs when a sheet of paper placed in a printing press comes in contact with the surface. Linoleum block is one method of printmaking that we will explore. First, the artist must create a sketch. This can be drawn directly on the block seen here or separately on a sheet of paper and transferred. Next, the artist will need to use the linoleum cutters to carve away areas of their composition that they do not want to print. During this process, the artist should be very careful never to carve in the direction of their hands, as linoleum cutters are very sharp.
Now we're ready to print. Because of the nature of printmaking, you always want to keep two separate stations, an inking station and a printing station. What I have here available for me to use in my inking station is a piece of plexiglass that I'm going to be just using to roll my ink out on. Of course, my ink brayer, and then the colored ink that I've selected. And then the printing station is just a clean piece of paper, and then the paper I'm going to be printing on. So now I'm going to demonstrate how to begin printing. First, I'm going to take my ink, and I'm going to squeeze out about a dime to a quarter size amount, closer to a quarter size amount of ink. I can always add more. It's harder to take away. Then I'm going to take my brayer, and I'm going to start rolling out the ink in both directions. First vertical, up and down, and then horizontal. I'm going to try and keep it the actual width of my ink brayer. I try to create a Velcro kind of noise with my ink. And once I get that sound, I know that I'm actually ready to start inking up my plate. So I'm going to move my ink, and I'm going to bring my plate, which is right here, all carved and ready to go, right to the side of my ink brayer. I'm going to make sure it's on the paper, and then I'm going to start applying ink to my plate, nice and evenly from top to bottom. And then I'm going to move to my printing station, and I'm going to take my paper, which I've already marked, with little marks for the corners of my plate, and I'm going to place it on top of this paper. I'm going to transfer my fully inked image, my plate, and using corners of my hands that are not going to touch the ink and ruin my print, I'm going to very carefully place my inked plate down on my printing paper. And then I'm going to just start applying some pressure. You can actually do this with a spoon. Some people use spoons. And I'm going to carefully flip my paper and smooth out my print. Now I'm going to use a clean ink brayer as something that's going to help me apply pressure to my paper and my plate and transfer that ink onto my paper. So I'm going to keep rolling on top of where I feel the plate to be, up and down, and then a little bit back and forth as well. I want to make sure that my ink is transferring from my plate onto my paper so that I get a nice, clean, smooth print. And once I've gone across it a couple of times and I feel like I've covered the area well, I'm going to carefully take a little sneak peek. You can take a corner of your paper and take a peek and see how well your ink has transferred. And I think it looks okay. So I'm actually going to just start peeling back my page. And voila, we've made a print.
And that is the process, from carved block to finished print.